This week, we've just successfully have secured our funding. That's I say that because I talked to some people locally, and they're like, yeah, it's Kingsville. We don't really think it's going to work. I was like, okay, so I'm not going to go to you for the loan. This is great. Next. Because if you don't have a banker that backs you up, don't waste your time. Just stop, save your breath, save your pitch, save everything for the next guy that actually agrees with the vision. So timeline, now that we have our funding, we think it'll be up in 12 months, 10 to 12 months. Centennial, the 100-year anniversary, right? I told my banker, I said, hey, we got to hurry this process up because we're going to have a big party there. I told him it had to be done by March. But when is the big party? Do we know? 100-year celebration? Next year sometime. All right. Well, we're going to be up and ready for that. Let's stay talking. Yeah, so about 10 months, 10 to 12 months is our goal. Great question. I love that question. We like to survey people. We did it in the London area. We created that Facebook page. We've got about 1,300, 1,400 followers of that immediate area. The Kings Plaza has 1,700 followers right now, which is really good. And we get a lot of interaction on the page. So what do? We post this up there and we say, hey, what do you want to see here in town? What are we missing? What are we lacking? What don't you want to see anymore? No more of? It's just great because people, they're like, yeah, let me tell you exactly what I don't want. You know what they told me they don't want?
Mexican restaurants.
How do you know? Were you guys the ladies that did that? That's why I said we're not going to do a Mexican restaurant. Kings Plaza. Kings Plaza. Yeah, so, but yes, great question.
What is the best way that us as community members can support this project?
Another great question. That's what we're talking about is community buy-in, right? It's just that. Having this meeting right here, inviting me to be here, it shows right there you guys are vested. So you guys are already doing it. Talking it up. The key thing is this. Once we do get the right people in, because we're looking for local business owners, and that's a trick because you got to convince people that it's worth the investment, right? And so the people who already jumped in, they saw the vision before we ever announced it. They already knew they wanted to be part of it. The day we announced it, they wanted to be part of it. Once we do build it, show up. Do service there. Buy from them, right? Support the local businesses. Because majority of these people will be local business owners, that means that every dollar you spend there with them, they will then pay their employees, they'll pay their family, because they have to pay their family. If the business owner's not paying his family first, when that business hits a slow season, it doesn't have any money to put back into the business. So it's crucial, right? We need to see our local business guys doing well, because when we have downturns like COVID, they can withstand, they can stand longer, right? And so that's very important. Do business there. People say, oh, I don't like the place. Great, well, you have suggestions? Give a suggestion. How can we improve? They're there because they want to do services with you. They want to provide services to you. Food, recreation, whatever it may be. Product, whatever it is that they're going to do there. That's the greatest way. When you support local business, that money, all that money stays locally. When you do business, when I do business with a big group, big franchise, that money leaves town. It doesn't stay local. Literally, it doesn't stay local. Talk about local economics. That COVID proved that. Look at all the family businesses, all the family restaurants that went out of business, right? The big chains lasted, right? Because they had the financial backing. So the biggest thing is to do business locally. I'm a huge opponent of that. Do business local because it'll do you well. It'll do you, it's good for you when you spend your money locally. And demand high service. Businesses need to have a high standard. I don't care if they're a mom and pop, it should be run like it's top shelf. That's how it should be run. So I believe in high standards and how we operate and run our businesses. Great question. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Your focus here is mainly the community joining together for the support and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there consideration on what will attract base as well as the university students?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, that's so good. The Navy base is looking for family environments. They're looking for places they can go to where they won't get in trouble, especially the young guys. There's some of these young guys can't go to certain restaurants or bars. Why? Because there's fights, right? So they're blacklisted from those places. Like, they just can't go there, not because they're bad guys, but bad stuff happens there. We're creating a family environment, guys. Family environment. You say, well, I'm not married, I don't have any kids. You want to be in a family environment. It's because it's less likely for a bunch of nonsense to happen there, right? That's one thing. Number two, the recreation part of the pickleball. The Navy base, they want this. So the lady and husband that's launching the business there, she plays at the base, she has a lot of friends at the base. She said they got 500 people that want to play pickleball. She goes, you'll have no problem, because she was nervous. She goes, it's not a proven concept in Kingsville yet. It's proven around the country, but it's not proven in Kingsville yet. I said, don't worry, it's going to work. So again, this is the point, is that you're bringing things together where you're bringing the recreation, the live music, event clean, live music, get some good Texas country in there, nothing crazy, right? But again, that's the goal, is to bring people together that they feel as though, man, I like being here. I like being here. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's a great question. Technically speaking, it's not a public facility. So there would be like small nominal fees to rent things out, and we'll have a calendar. And the lady's name is Amanda and Rob, the husband and wife, Pruitt. Amanda Pruitt, Rob Pruitt. They're going to be helping us maintain that calendar in the common area. But yeah, it's a great point. The same thing in London Plaza. People have birthday parties there, but they basically ping us on the page, and we just give them permission, right? We have a lot of, we had a request from London. London has a Bible club, and the young kids, and they want to have a movie night. And so they reached out to us and said, hey, can we do an outdoor movie night? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. This is great. This is what it's here for, right? It's appropriate, but I want appropriate things being played on movies, right? So I'm like, because it's a public area. So there's, like anything, standards and guidelines. Great question. Yes, sir.
Has there been any discussion on partnering with places like the university, given our unique location, possibly using some of the lease spaces, incubation or startup space?
Yes, there has been. Yes, there has been. So we've met with Jacob and Rito. Yes, thank you. I'm not great with names. I apologize. They've both been very supportive of. They've both been very supportive of what we want to accomplish here, and let me take a sip of water. I'm sorry. Yeah. So we have met with them several times. Whoop, I think that this mic's given out. So we've met with them. I'm just going to yell. So we've met with them several times because it's 3 blocks from the university. They have said that they would run the trolley, which is good. So the trolley would run. The other thing would be we do have some space available that I've spoken to Jacob, the CFO, about possibly having some collaboration space there, office space, an incubator. I would love an incubator being there. I love the idea of business incubators. So there is space there, and I'm looking for tenants. So if you can control that, anybody else in this room can control that, get me a lease. I would love a lease agreement with the college, because it then kind of seals the deal of connectability, right? So yes, there definitely has been. There's been some other talks as well to help meet some of the needs that they've approached us on. I can't release that right now, but we are talking with the college as well to see how we can help some of the other needs as well, because the college is growing, which is well done. You guys are doing great. I mean, seriously, it's a big feat. It is a big feat to continue to grow your enrollment, especially with actual students here, like not like online students, right? But so yes, we would love that. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Again, that's to your point, exactly right. If you don't have the buy-in of the community, it will not sustain. So when you start a project, you have to know exactly what the community is asking for and what they need. Not just, it'd be nice to have that. If we had a movie theater in town, I wouldn't have to drive 45 minutes to go watch a movie. Build me a movie theater. Okay, would you get a buy-in from that? Absolutely. Why? There you go. So you build what people need. Not like you need to go to a movie, but you know what? I want to go to a movie, right? New movie came out. I want to go see it. And I don't want to drive 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back. So it's called a vacuum. You've got a vacuum for a need. And so businesses do well, developers do very well when they meet the need. Not so much the want, right? I want to have that. Well, how bad do you want it? You want it, and how many other people want it bad enough to support a full business to run and operate that way, right? So that's a great point. It's building what people need and being intentional. It's about intentionally developing and designing projects that will do well for the community. That's a great question. Where's my young entrepreneurs at? Where's my young business people at? Where's your questions at? Come on, I'm ready. Go ahead, sir.
With your inspiring story, I can tell you for your passion for these little projects. Can you share any future endeavors that you plan on seeking, I think, from your daughter? I know she's how are future endeavors that you want to share this to inspire us?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've done a lot of, I'm a builder, I'm a carpenter by trade, I'm a blue collar type guy that started with nothing. My wife and we got married. I was 20 years old. She was slightly older. I convinced her to marry me. I said, I promise you we'll have beautiful children. That's all I could really promise at that point. I married her for her money. Megan will say she had more money in her bank account than I did when I married her. But I had passion, I had focus, and I wanted to help other people. When you get into business, the whole idea is you want to help other people. It's not you want to take anything from them. Right? I don't ascribe to the idea that I need to give back to society. That mentality means that I stole something from society. Give back means you took. When you provide a good, honest service to the community, and it's a fee for service, they're agreeing to pay you for a level of service, right? Food, whatever it is, whatever type it is. I believe in investing in my community. I don't believe in giving back because I didn't steal anything. I didn't take anything. Okay? It's an intentional thought process, guys. We can so easily fall into this like conglomerate thought, this big world perspective of the evil business people. Right? So one of the things, so with that, I've spent a lot of time in Africa. I was on my first trip in Africa when I was 22 years old in South Africa. I've been going for 20 years to help build sustainable communities in South Africa, Swaziland, Mozambique. My two daughters, my oldest daughters who are twins, we were there for 12 days last July, and we've been working with sustainable projects for a long time. And one of the things, to bring up your point, one of the things that motivates me in business is it creates wealth. If you're a good business person, it'll create wealth. And when you've created wealth, you're able to care for your family very well. You're able to, when you create wealth, I'll stop yelling. When you create wealth, you're able to support your family very well, provide a good lifestyle for your family. That's key. That's number one. That's our first responsibility as a man, as a lady, as a husband and wife, is to provide for your family, care for them. Number two, I truly believe a successful person sows into their community. It may be through your local church, it may be through your local humanitarian organization, however it may be, you sow into the community because that means you're vested in the community. You become a pillar of the community. Okay? And number three, I truly believe in investing in projects around the world and or the country and or the state that bring significance to other people's lives that will never repay me a dime. It's very important. You should always have a way of being significant in other people's lives. Bring significance, and don't expect anything back from them. There's standards when you give and expectations that should be met. One of the things that we started 6 months ago is a podcast. It's called Kingdom Heirs. It's where faith meets business, inspiring kingdom-minded entrepreneurs. And that is one thing that I've had a passion for a long time, is to share, to teach, to encourage, to inspire. So I would encourage you to scan that and subscribe to our YouTube page. We talk about a lot of our projects. We bring in area business people, husbands, wives, individuals come in and they share their faith story. They share how they started from nothing and where they're at today. It's very, very important. And how they also contribute back to helping raise up the next generation. It's so crucial. Talking with people here today, just having a conversation about retirement. And I think one of the greatest losses that we have is when our senior generation, they start to retire. I think one of the losses of society is that they take their knowledge with them. So I surround myself with older people, young guys and gals. I surround myself with older people. I may look old to you, but I'm not that old. And when you surround yourself with older people, you glean from them. Gleaning. You know what gleaning is? Just by being next to them, you pick up, right? And there might be some stuff, so we have a saying that says, take the meat, spit out the bones. So crucial. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business owner, you want to be in business, serve somebody who's already doing it. Just be their gopher. Whatever you need, serve alongside of them. You will glean so much and you'll advance years. You'll accelerate yourself years. So, I have a lot of things going on. Tune into the podcast. You'll see what we got going on. There's a lot of fun stuff. Any other questions here? Yes, sir.
Do you see Kings Plaza, like, say it improves? Do you see, like, Kings Plaza number 2?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's supply and demand. It always goes back to supply and demand. And that one is going to do well. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a ripple effect down the street. And you guys ever hear of keeping up with the Joneses? Well, here it might be keeping up with the Lopezes, but in New York we say the Joneses, you know. But here it's a real thing because you inspire people to improve. How could you have a multi-million-dollar complex sitting next to a piece of dirt? Just trash. People are like, well, now that that's there, this piece of property is going to be worth a lot more. Not if you don't improve it. And that's what I love about real estate. Real estate creates that. It's a big exchange because values go way up when you're next to something valuable. Values go way down when you're next to a piece of trash. Hence why it's so important to clean up the city. Hence why it's so important to do infill. Mayor and I talked about infilling. It's crucial. You got these old neighborhoods, infill them. Build new houses. Build new houses. It'll cause everybody else to want to improve their values. You improve your values, tax base goes up, equity goes up. Great question. Yeah, of course. We use pro formas and prospectus. So you've got to show them how well it's going to do over time. Yeah, so we definitely do. It's a part of, I've learned that game about 3 years ago. I had to show, you can't just sell them the vision with no numbers. You need to be able to show how the return on investment is going to impact. And yes, so we do that with a pro forma and or a prospectus. And they're vital, super important. Great question. Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. You know, one of the things is keeping the style of the building the way it is. Because when you walk into that, you're stepping into history. And that's very unique for our area, right? And so to your point, that's I built for the King Ranch in 2020. We built them a brand new gun safe. Could you imagine that, building them? I got hired, because I'm a general contractor as well. I'm a developer and a general contractor. People can hire me to build their stuff for them. So they hired me to build their new safe. It's like 2,000 square feet, guys. It's almost a little bit smaller than this. It's a gun safe for all their guns. It's amazing. Bazookas and all sorts of stuff. I didn't see any bazookas. But the crucial thing was this. They may have had it. I didn't see it. The crucial thing was this. I had to match the architecture of these buildings. Have been there 150 years. We had to match it. And we did it. And it's right next to the mansion. And so because it's rich in that architectural culture is so important. I think another thing would be is that because this is being built for the community, it's going to attract people of the community. And when you're attracting people of the community, it represents y'all. It's unlike having people from Midwest somewhere coming in and trying to build something. They have no idea about what the culture is, and they're bringing all these outside people in. This is being built by the community, for the community, of the community. Does that make sense? It's kind of like our Constitution, right? And so that's why it's great when you include us. It's the people that actually matter. It's us. These people in the room right here. It's us that matter, not some ideals that are far away. So that's a great question.